Hello and welcome to the BC Alumni podcast. I'm Bethan from the Alumni team, and in each episode we welcome a different member of the BC Alumni community back onto campus to tell us all about what they've been up to since they graduated. Today we're joined by Shovon Wiggan, a business management graduate and founder of Inspiradol, a toy business which aims to improve the representation of multicultural dolls for young children. In this episode, we're going to find out all about Inspiradol, Shovon's incredible career journey so far, and what really goes into being an entrepreneur. So Shovon, thanks so much for coming onto the podcast. We've been following your, entrepreneurial journey over the last few years, but can you tell listeners all about what Inspiradol is and the story behind it?
Yeah, sure. So Inspiradol is a multicultural doll collection. We have 4 dolls in the collection and they're all from different cultures. So we have a black doll, we have a white doll, we have a Chinese doll and a Muslim doll. And they're all best friends and they like to go on adventures around the world with each other, discovering new cultures, discovering inspiring women in history. And the inspiration behind the brand was actually my niece, Naya. So my niece is named after the black doll. Well, the black doll is named after my niece.
Yeah.
Because when my niece was 5, she was having some self-identity issues where she wasn't really confident with her skin colour. She actually didn't want to be her skin colour. She wanted to be a completely different skin colour. And, you know, that's not possible. So as her auntie, and she was only 5 at the time, might I add. So I felt like it was my responsibility as her aunt just to give her some confidence and let her know she's fine just the way that she is. Yeah. And I think it was important for me to have dolls that all look completely different to each other, to show her and lots of other children that, you know, we're all special in our own unique way, and that's what makes us special. So yeah, that's a little bit.
You chose to study business management here at BCU then. When did you graduate? Last year?
I did. It feels so long ago now, but yeah, it was only last year.
Wow. So I guess were you growing the business actually throughout your time at BCU then?
I was. So it all really started to get serious in my second year of university. So that was when lockdown hit, when all the COVID and stuff was going around, and we had that year, or I don't know how long, I think it was like a year and a bit of staying at home. And because I had so much time on my hands, you know, I really enjoyed that period. I felt like it showed me what life was supposed to be like, a little bit slowed down, and you've just got more time to think about what's important. So during that period I started working on the marketing for the business, and naming the dolls and doing the sketches and finding somebody that could do the illustrations, because I'm really rubbish at drawing. So I sourced the illustrator on Instagram, and she then drew each doll for me. And then once lockdown eased and I went into the start of my 3rd year, that was when I started working with Steam House. And the manager at Steam House heard about my idea and he really liked the idea, and he kind of gave me confidence to reach out to manufacturers, because I think when you've not done something before, it can seem quite daunting, you know. And he was like, Shovon, just do it. Like, what are you waiting for? It's a great idea. So I reached out to the manufacturers, and then we started the prototyping stage, and then it just all took off from there really. And we launched, I think it was a month before I graduated.
Right, okay. So how did your degree help you then? Because I think it's really interesting that you were obviously still learning whilst actually setting up your own business as well. So you think, were there kind of skills what you were picking up alongside, like kind of in real time on your degree?
I think what I gained from my degree was discipline, because I was having to juggle so many different things at the same time, and I'm a mum as well. So it was just all about time management and organisation. And I think as well, being around like-minded people that were all on our journeys of just wanting to do something amazing with our lives, having those kind of people around you really kept me motivated. But I think my degree with business, it's more theoretical stuff that you're learning at university, and I'm more of like a hands-on person. But don't get me wrong, it was still important information that I was learning. Yeah.
Well, you touched upon Steam House. So, obviously you got really involved with Steam House.
I love Steam House.
Yeah. And I guess kind of like what support and opportunities have you kind of received because of your involvement with Steam House then?
Well, so Steam House have recently launched their newest I don't know what you call it, campus, newest location. But
the building.
Yes, the building. But before that, they had the incubator.
Yeah.
So they did a massive launch at the Millennium Point, and I was one of 3 entrepreneurs to be able to speak at the launch. And I was the only female as well, representing for the girls. And I think just having someone, as I mentioned, Richard, the manager, absolutely amazing guy. Just having him in my corner was just something that really money can't buy, because I think being an entrepreneur, it might seem really glitzy and glamoury from the outside, but there's a lot of hard work that goes into it, and you can just doubt yourself a lot because it's something that you've never done before, and having someone who is in your corner, whether you're having a good day, a bad day, a broke day, everything's going well, and they're just so consistent, was one thing that, I really, really appreciated. And then moving on from there, I gained so many opportunities just from being attached to Steam House, if you like. And I think because I was one of the first entrepreneurs that really started like creating a buzz. Anytime they would have events, I would be called in to do talks and things like that, and kind of like speak to people that were just starting their entrepreneur journey. And it was really interesting because I think being an ambitious person, you've always just focused on your next goal, and you kind of lose track on how much you have accomplished. So being around other people where they're kind of like looking up to me, I was like, what? Like little old me. But, it was nice to be able to pass down some of my trials and tribulations to help them know, if I can do it, so can you. So I think another thing as well, like-minded people, there's so many different types of businesses that come out of Steam House, and just speaking to those people and watching them grow and being able to speak to them when they're having bad days as well. Because I think nowadays you don't really like to share if you're having a bad day, but it's inevitable, especially in business. Even in life, you're going to have a bad day. So to know that you've got that safe space that you can just vent and rant, and the next day they're not going to judge you, and you can just get straight back to what you were doing the day before. It was really good to have that space.
Okay. We've got a couple of the dolls here with us. I absolutely just love these. Who are these then? What are their names?
So that's Naya, and that's Hannah.
Hannah.
Yeah.
So you must feel so proud when you actually see these in the flesh.
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's taken us quite a while because we only launched with Naya first, and then since we launched we've been working on the other prototypes, but they do take quite a long time from start to finish to arrive. So seeing them, it's very, it makes me feel happy. It does. Yeah.
How do you decide on like what they're wearing and what their whole vibe's going to be?
So like I said, in lockdown, I was working with the illustrator, and then she created sketches. They all of the inspiration came from my head, but she was able to turn what was in my head into something tangible. And then from there, we sent the sketches over to the manufacturers, who then just basically recreated the sketches and turned it into a prototype.
So what is the feedback that you've had on the dolls? Like, do you really feel like you've like really managed to find a gap in the market?
I do. I actually really do. And you know what? While I was thinking about the marketing, because, I think when you speak about race, sometimes it can make people feel uncomfortable. It's just how you go about it. So that was one thing that I was really conscious about, especially launching the black doll first. I didn't want people to think that, you know, only black children could play with the black doll. Because when I was younger, I had loads of white dolls, and I've got loads of white friends as well. So, you know, how I wanted to market the doll was, if a little white girl has a black friend at nursery or at school, why not have a black doll in her toy collection? It just mirrors society, really. So we started getting quite a lot of customers, and our customers were white. A lot of customers were white, and I felt really proud of myself, because I think, you know, the dolls, it's not just about, okay, it's a black doll. It's more of just kind of breaking down barriers, if you like, you know, race barriers. Like, it doesn't matter if she's black, like, she's got a personality. She's got a yellow t-shirt. She's, you know, just like, see beyond that she's just got brown skin, because it's just something that people can't choose. You know, we don't ask to be this color, so it's just, you know, we're just people. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's what was really important for me to get across, having different races of dolls. I didn't want it to just be, you know, this colour can only be played with this colour. It's like, no, we can all play with each other. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think the feedback has been exactly that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm really proud of myself in that sense, because I was a little bit nervous at first. I was like, oh, you know, are they going to like her? Are they not?
Yeah.
But thankfully, she's been selling really well. So
That's good.
I'm happy about that.
So I guess how much work has really gone into growing the business then? I mean, obviously you're a recent graduate, and you graduated last year, and a parent, so it must be really hard work to kind of, you know, find the time and the energy to help really grow the business.
Yeah. Honestly, the business, you have to work on it every single day, because as an entrepreneur, you are, let's say, the captain of the ship. If you take a rest, you know, you don't know where your ship's going to end up.
Yeah.
You don't even know if your ship's going to go forward, you know. So, yeah, it does take a lot of work, but I think you've got to have something that motivates you when the going gets tough, because it's not always going to be, you know, sunshine and flowers, which no one really tells you about when you're setting up the business.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of like get too deep. And it's like, okay, I can't even turn around now. I'm in too deep.
Yeah.
I've got to just ride this wave. But yeah, I think the rewards of the hard work are greater than the hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess what are some of the biggest lessons you've learnt so far then? And also, like, I guess also, how do you cope with the kind of the highs and the lows and that like roller coaster of being an entrepreneur?
So firstly, what I've learned is that it's really important to be positive, and be thankful of the little things, you know, like grateful of the little steps that you move forward, because it's not always going to be big, giant achievements that you get. They're going to be like spread out over the year. You might get 5, but you've still got to stay positive and know that you're working towards them. Another thing is being organized, prioritizing, and actually like rewarding yourself when you do achieve something, instead of just, like I said, I'm ambitious, so I'll just focus on the next goal, and it's like I forget about the whole year of achievements that I've accomplished, because it's like, no, I haven't achieved that. So that the next goal that I need to achieve is more important, which I think can affect your mental health, because it's like, okay, you're not even enjoying the benefits of all your hard work. You know, you just kind of like digging yourself into a hole, if you like. That's honestly how I have felt initially. But then I was like, Shovon, just go a little bit easy on yourself. Like, you're doing really well. And I think as well, having like a supportive circle around you that you can speak to and confide in, and they'll pick you up when you're sad, and just enjoying life as well. I think that's really important. You know, going out, enjoying yourself, making memories. And then I just get on with it. I don't know if that's good advice. Yeah. But I just get on with it. I think, so there was a big thing that actually happened. So when So we were supposed to launch the business a year before the business launched, and it never went to plan. The dolls came over and the quality of the dolls were not like sufficient.
Right.
So we had to send the dolls back and start again from scratch. And it really, really depressed me. It was like so sad for me, because I think I was putting a lot of pressure on myself as well. And there were like people that I didn't want to let down, and I felt like, okay, I have to be perfect. Like, people are looking at me like I'm this perfect entrepreneur, and I'm a planner as well. So, you know, you don't plan to fail. So when things go wrong, you're like, what? Like, I didn't plan for this. So having that situation happen, it just taught me, you know, things can go wrong, but it's what you do afterwards. It's how you pick yourself back up and carry on. And, you know, I think you really learn a lot when things go wrong if you deal with it in the right way. You know, you can cry about it and be sad about it for a little bit, but just don't sit in it for like the next few months and just, you know, wallow in self-pity. It's good to just feel it and then release it and then move on. And then, you know, you look back and you've got a story to tell. It's like, do you remember when that happened?
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I just think I'm all about living in the moment and, you know, just experiencing the good, the bad and the ugly and learning from it.
So what is the ultimate dream then? Like, where would you like to kind of see yourself and Inspire a Doll in maybe like 10 years time?
I would love to have my dolls stocked in the Entertainer.
Yeah.
Smiths, even Selfridges.
I was going to say Selfridges. I can imagine these in Selfridges.
Yeah. And then we were thinking, because we're currently working on a book, but I would love to have an animation.
Yeah.
Like on TV, like on CBBC.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love it. Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, you are, as you probably know, like a real inspiration for so many students and fellow alumni at BCU. I feel like we've all kind of followed your journey over the last few years. So what would you tell a student or a graduate who you know, are keen to really set up their own business?
Firstly, I would say believe in yourself. Like, that is number one. You've got to believe in yourself, because when you're first starting out, you know, you're working off a vision that's in your own head, and not everyone might get it. You know, you might not make money straight away, but you've got to believe in yourself the most during those stages. And then another thing I would say, when things do start going well, remain humble. Like, don't get too much of a big head, because things can go wrong.
Yeah.
And then I would say really focus on what it is that you want to get out of your business, because if it's just money, you're going to give up. Like, you need something to motivate you more than the money, because you might not make money straight away. And then another thing I would say is really focus on the customer, like the target market, because that's going to be the people that you sell into. You know, you really got to be specific about what they look like, where they shop, what age they are, and then that will help you then focus your marketing around that customer. And then I would say, last but not least, enjoy the journey, because the destination is a long way away. Yeah. That's what I'm learning, you know, and you can add new stops onto the destination. So you might get to where you're getting to, but then realise this is just the beginning. I want to add another stop. I want to have, and then it's just about enjoying the journey to those destinations.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing that I've learned.
Okay. So this is something we like to do in every episode, a Birmingham quick fire round.
Yeah.
Where is your, I guess, almost like favourite spot on the BCU campus? Or do you have anywhere that you think, oh, I loved just being there?
I actually do. So when I was a student, I used to, because I'm really big on manifestation.
Yeah.
So I used to go to the library, and in the library there's meeting rooms, and one of them you have like a big office table with like lots of chairs, and then like a whiteboard. And I used to always sit at the head of the table with like loads of empty chairs and just visualize that I'm like this massive business owner, like
Yeah.
I'm like in my board meeting, and honestly I would go there like nearly on every break in case, like unless the room was booked out,
Yeah.
I would go there every single day. Yeah.
Snobs or pop world?
Snobs.
Are you blues or villa?
Oh God. If I had to pick, villa.
Would you?
Yeah.
Would you rather go to Broad Street or Digbeth?
Probably Broad Street.
Would you?
I like Brindley Place.
And where is your like favourite like Brummie landmark?
Favourite Brummie landmark. I don't know if it's a landmark, but I like Cannon Hill Park.
Oh yeah, I'd say that's a bit of a landmark. Yeah.
Yeah, I like taking my son there. I like going on the little train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that train. And what is your like best like Brummie word?
Oh God. Probably Bab.
I was gonna say. I mean, that's the ultimate word, isn't it? Bab?
Yeah, because I'm from Dudley as well, so we're like.
Oh
even
really? I'm
more
from Dudley.
Oh yeah. I think I've lost the accent though.
Yeah, well, I thought you were more Brummie than Black Country. Actually, that's
I'm
interesting.
From Neverton, yeah.
Oh my God, I actually used to live in Neverton. That's so weird. But yeah, no, I love the word Bab.
How am you, Bab?
So you've been selected as one of our barrier breakers this year's Alumni Festival then. So what does that mean to you?
Oh my gosh, like that is such an honour, firstly. And I would say what it means to me to be a barrier breaker is being like confidently yourself and being a trendsetter.
Yeah.
And being unique, being original, and not being scared to be that. And then because you're so confident in it, it inspires other people to then want to be the same.
Okay, love that. And final question then, if you could go back to your very first day here at BCU then, what year was that?
Oh goodness, 2019.
So your very first day then, what is that kind of one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you could go back?
Honestly, I would say don't give up. Don't give up.
Yeah.
Because at one point I was going to give up.
Really?
In my final year, I was going to give up because it was just too much. It was like, oh, it's too much. But then funnily enough, I was chosen to be in the marketing campaign. And then,
yes.
and out of all the pictures that they took, my picture was on the front of the prospectus.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't give up now. Imagine quitting, leaving uni, and I'm on the front of the prospectus.
You are the look. I know. I mean, that yellow suit as well, that's like iconic.
Why, thank you. But yeah, I would say don't give up. You know, uni, it can feel very stressful at times, and it can feel very overwhelming. But when you graduate, all of those worries, stresses just fade away, and you just feel so proud of yourself. And you know, it is a massive accomplishment to graduate. So guys, don't give up.
Thanks so much for popping by today and going on to the podcast. We'll come back to see you again very soon and follow your journey even more.
Thanks, Beth. You're a sweetheart.